In this course, we're going to calculate average, ignoring errors, using average, aggregate, and AVERAGEIF, with a few curveballs along the way. Brad Williams, Excel primed at calculating averages, ignoring errors. We're gonna look at a number of different ways of averaging and just using different tools to get the same result. So here we have a typical layout. We're gonna have just random stuff here. Random stuff. We have errors, and then we have some negative numbers. Here we have our tools. We have average, we have aggregate, we have AVERAGEIF. We have a name range, miscellaneous 136, B5 to B15. Over here, we have a narrative. We have our anatomy. We'll go over to the narrative first, then we're going to go into the anatomy, then we'll go into the solutions. Pretty much in this comprehensive tutorial, this is going to be the layout. Here, every gray is a new example, new solution. Here, you're going to have your formula. You're going to have the answer. You're going to have a map based off of our arguments. Here, if we look at this average here, we're going to get miscellaneous. I'm not going to cover every one of these. You see where it says aggregate? Here's your aggregate. We're going to break it down based off of the arguments. Then we're going to have these solutions. Using the AVERAGEIF or aggregate function, you can average values within a list while excluding any errors. Below is the formula. Aggregate 1 to 6, miscellaneous 136. Aggregate 1 to 6. Where's the AVERAGEIF? It's down here. Talking points, a list of values containing errors must be averaged. The name range miss 1 to 36 contains the values to average B5 to B15. Typically, the average function can be used to determine average. Even so, if the list contains errors, average will turn an error. This is highlighted in cell E5, which contains the average function. Average miscellaneous, up here, we have average miscellaneous. And the question is, why is it not throwing an error? We'll continue. The B5 and B15 contain several NA errors, which is an issue commonly seen in Microsoft Excel. This NA error, we're going to see it repeatedly. Errors in the data might find their way into the cells B5 and the B15, which contain NA errors. AVERAGEIF, using the AVERAGEIF function, is a common technique for solving this problem. First, it allows you to specify a condition to get filtered values. We can filter out, we can say not NA. That means these less than, equal to, NA, it's going to override that. We don't want to include NA errors in our AVERAGEIF. The aggregate, using the aggregate function, the quickest and simplest way for ignoring errors when calculating an average. By setting the function number to 1 and the options parameter to 6, cell E6 contains aggregate formatted to an average. Okay, now I don't know if I have this broken down. Aggregate has 13 different numbers you can enter in here. I'll get to that. So anyway, I want you to just go through here and you can review this. So right now, all we're going to do is look at these three functions right now. Here we have an NA error and then an NA error and negative numbers. So we have this average miscellaneous 136. All we do is grab this information. Here's our name range. If you're not using name ranges, this is going to look like B5 to B15. We have, as shown here, average B5 to B15. Same as this, just the name range. Here we have aggregate 1 to 6, miscellaneous 136. If we go in here and we want to change this, we want to go in here and go function number option. If we delete this, it may show all the options. We'll put 1. And you can see there's 7 options. Ignore nested, ignore hidden, ignore errors, ignore, and we said ignore hidden rows or ignore error values. Ignore hidden rows and error values. Well, we don't have any hidden rows. We're not dealing with subtotals or any of the other stuff. We can put ignore nothing, ignore hidden rows, etc. So we can put 6 in there. 6. Put 6 and all right. So there you go. What do we do there? We are just calculating this average. Go down here. And all I did was just show you that if you're not going to put name ranges, this is what it looks like. Down here, we have average if. Average if over here. Average numbers that meet a criteria. What's the criteria? Take a look. Average if. We have range. We can go in here and right here, you see where it says range? Well, here's your range. That's why there's a map. Then we have criteria. Criteria. These are necessary. We have to include the required arguments. And we have this average range, which is optional, and you don't see anything after this criteria, and then you can see average range. If you want, you can hit F9 and nothing's going to happen here. We can go back here to range, and you can hit F9, and it's going to show us this range. If we want, we can go to average if and just highlight average if, don't click it, and hit F9, and it's going to give us this average. That's as far as I'm going in terms of looking at the internals of every function, but you can see how to arrange or review when you're entering this stuff or when you're sitting there trying to be creative. You can do a little research here internally to see if the logic pencils out. We have miscellaneous greater than equal to 0. Average if, 1, what's it doing? It ignores errors. So that's a plus. Second, we were very explicit. We're saying average is greater than or equal to 0. So we're not fooling around with this negative 59. And hence, our average is going to be higher. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. We have this average if error miscellaneous 136. What does that mean? If there's an error, then don't include it. We have this value here, F9. Are there any blanks? Any blanks in here? That's all we're saying. If error, make it a blank. Then average. So now we can go in here and we can go F9, number F9. And here we're going to average 78, 11, 2084, etc. Okay, I need to backtrack a little bit here. The question I rose at the very opening was why, if average throws an error when it's trying to average within a range of errors, why are we getting an average here? The key thing, the first and most important thing you need to do when you are reviewing or somebody hands off information to you is to review the data. We know what average does. Average numbers, and it will avoid text. What do we have here? We have NA. That's an error. Is it? It looks like that is text, isn't it? When we put anything within a set of quotes, it turns into text. Here, NA, and then here, NA. That's why this worked. If we just do this, just get rid of this, and then we can get rid of this equal sign, get rid of this other, and what happens? It throws an error. Now, in terms of this filter, you see this filter here? We have this 4875, and I said, well, we can go in and take a look at it. We can look at this. We can just grab this information here. I know it's early, but I figured, what the heck? Just dive into this thing head first. F9, you can see here, we picked up that error with this filter. What does it say? If there's an error, put a blank. You see these two quotes without a space? That means it's an error. We're able to work around that. And then here, if you noticed, okay, I forgot to point this out. If you look at this, I can just do this. Number, F9. And if you look, you see this NA, and it's in these quotes? Well, that's an indication that it's text. So then we could go in here and do this. We can go equals, It goes 5 divided by 0. Since we already have blown up this average deal, well, here is an actual error. So look at our filter. Look at this right here, F9. What do we have? We have F9. We're going to get the double quotes. Here, if we go to aggregate and we just go function, no, we don't want that. This won't work. Aggregate, you can't do that. Average if, no, well, average if, F9, it's just going to give us the total, 64. We can't parse some of this stuff. So that's it. Read this over here. Introduce yourself to the various tools and the functions and the mapping. Again, I call this the anatomy. I'm going to call this the narrative. And you're going to hear me say, if you need it, read it. And I'm going to say it probably 100 times. Over here, what's highlighted is just over here to your right. Here are the formulas using another function, the formula text. And then here are just our tools. Here, you can change this. You're going to see that I use F9. That means update. That means a lot of the tutorials are going to be on an active basis, meaning I'm using what's called ran between. Why? Because I think an active worksheet is helpful. It explains a lot. And as you progress, you're going to go, I'm sick of this F9, but I kind of get the point. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.